Welcome to the Psych Expansion Podcast, where we discuss the patterns and habits of past, present generations and how they will shape the future if you don't correct them. You feel me? That intro is a little different than what I usually do, but hey, it's whatever. How y'all doing today? How are y'all doing today? Listen, today was definitely a good day for me. So I have to work on Sundays, right? And what I said I was gonna start doing, which what I did today, is since I can't make it to church, what I do is I listen to the sermons on my phone while I'm driving around and whatnot. See what I'm saying? It's not gonna stop me from hearing a good word. It's not gonna stop me from hearing a good word. So actually today they were talking about David and Goliath, right? And you know the story where David defeats Goliath, whatnot, giant, small guy. But what I got from it was I think that we are both David and Goliath. I know that sounds crazy, right? Like, you know, but check me out. I think we are both David and Goliath, right? We have this one side of us that wants to pursue dreams, that wants to start our, business, that wants to better our lives, step in the gym, whatever the case may be. Whatever that thing is that you want to do, you have it in your head. You're like, I'm gonna do this. Goliath is those fears within you, those self-imposed limitations within you. You know what I'm saying? You just look at it like you want to do these things, but then you're like, man, look, man, I don't even know how to do it. I don't even know how I'm gonna get there. Like, man, what if this happened? What if that happened? Listen, there's actually a stat, and you can fact check me. You can fact check me, and it's about fears. They say 90% of the things we worry about actually never happen. 90%, which is crazy, crazy. So you let a little 10% take you out. Let a little 10% take you out. Come on now. But getting back to it, it's those self limitations on people. Like they put them on yourself. They'll see something like, let's just say you want to lose 40 pounds, 50 pounds. And you're like, man, if I go to the gym, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I don't even know how I'm going to get there. Like, not as far as like in the gym. I mean, that too, right? We'll include that. But until you start working on that, how do you know? Why are you setting limitations on what you can do whenever you haven't even started doing it yet? Right? I could kind of understand if you were doing it and you weren't seeing no progress, or you were doing it and I don't know, it wasn't coming as fast as you wanted to. I don't know. I don't know. I guess like if you're in the action of doing it and you're having putting these limitations on yourself, okay, I could, I'm not saying that you were correct by thinking that way, right? But what I'm saying is I could see why you think that way. And I mean, I guess that's understandable. That's why you need, like, I feel like you need a community. Keep pushing you, keep pushing you. Honestly, you really just need to not put limitations on yourself. But going back to it though, put these limitations on yourself. I think that most of the time this is what I do, right? Whenever I come up with an idea that I want to start on, right? Let's just say my clothing line. I'll do my research. First of all, I make it make sense, right? How does this make sense? How does this align with what I want to do? So what I did was I came up with Lake. Lake is a road that I was born on. It's called Lake Artesia, and it also stands for, it's an acronym for leveraging assets, knowledge, and equity. Right. So it's like, look, I actually have on a shirt, and it's crazy because I just started talking about, look, Lake, right? Lake, Lake 94. That is 1994 in Roman numerals, and that's a 94. And it kind of looks familiar to the LA Dodgers symbol, but it's a 94 as well. So the LA is Lake Artesia, and I was born in 1994. Anyways, I made it make sense, right? That gave me it also gave it some sentimental value, right? Made it make sense that way. Now I'm really trying to get into it, right? I'm really like pushing towards it. I've done gave it this value. Now I want to see it succeed. It's like having, I can't really. I guess I could make this comparison, but you know what I'm saying. If it don't work for you, I guess come up with your own. Uh, like it's like having a child, right? Like you've created this thing, and now you want to see it do good. So now you have to do your research on it, right? Do your research on what makes a good clothing line, what type of business model you need. Just look at some blueprints from other people that's done it. So next thing I did was I looked and seen how I could get it online. I end up finding, there's tons of content on how to start an online shopping store through Shopify or some other platforms. I can only speak on Shopify because that's the one that I use. Okay. It's like this came so fast because I'm telling you, like once you like really lock into something, put your phone on the side, set some time away, like don't have no music playing, just let your thoughts run through your head. I believe that we have everything within us and around us to help us become successful. We just got to start noticing them, right? And if you have a trouble doing that, do like I do. I pray every night, right? And I ask God to not let me look over any blessings or any sign that he puts in front of my face. So, not saying that I'm gonna notice everything, but he's gonna send that blessing through, and I'm gonna notice more things around me and give me more ideas. Okay, back to it though. I've gave it this value. I've set this I found this Shopify strategy where I can set up my store. And next thing I had to do was just design the shirts, right? And the crazy thing about this design right here, the color scheme of it, it was an accident, right? So, and it's so dope though. Like, look at it. Tell me this is not fire, right? Tell me this is not fire. So, how that came about was I had a guy. I needed some shirts on hand, right? So whenever I'm on the streets, I can talk to people. And like I was confident that this was gonna work. I still am, right? You can still go to the website late94.net and buy merch if you want to. You know what I'm saying? But I I had a guy making me t-shirts as well as the clothing that was online. But one day he just like had some leftover paint on his whatever it's called, where they put it on the shirt on the press, and they just put it on the shirt. And whenever I went there to pick up my orders, he was like, "Hey man, I threw in a couple extra shirts." You know what I'm saying? Like, we just had some leftover ink, and I just, put it on there, made you some extra ones. And I looked, and I was like, "Yo, this is dope! Like, this is so dope." I wish y'all could see this. If y'all are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any audio outlet, basically the colors go from like at the top, they go from like a purple, then go into a lavender, pink, green. Like you just have to see it. Go to YouTube, type in Psych Expansion Podcast, and look at this episode. So far, but going back to the process, I overcame the fear. I made it make sense, right? I overcame the fear by making it make sense. I gave it value that gave me that why I should do this, right? It has sentimental value. It's where I grew up on. It's the year I was born. You know what I'm saying? I'm inspiring people to think differently, think about leveraging assets, knowledge, and equity, right? Now I done looked online. I got the store going, Shopify, easy. I did all of this. Within 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I want to say within the first month and a half, I had sold at least $1,000 worth of merch. Month and a half. I mean, though that's how it usually happens, right? Like usually whenever you start something up and announce a business, you have the people that are around you, like friends, family, and you maybe make a couple sales on your own and whatnot by promoting it, and people like it's like, oh, okay, I'll buy it, whatever. Like that's usually how that first run goes, right? You'll see all this money, and then later on, you're gonna be like, "Whoa, why my sales drop off so much?" Like that first run is definitely like I don't want to say it's beginner's luck because it's not that at all. It is something new to the people, right? They want to support you. They like what you're doing. They want to support you, so they're gonna buy something. So that's what happened. Month and a half, over $1,000 worth of merch. So long story short, what I'm getting at is that that fear that I had, I just had to make it make sense to me. I gave it value. Why should I do this? Right? Make it make sense. It'll knock all that fear out the way, right? Like nothing, like I don't really think fear should be the sole purpose of holding you back from starting a business. Like what's the worst that can happen? Like you have to start over, whatever. Don't put limitations on yourself and sit by saying things like, you know, um, what if nobody buys it? Or I guess that's a fear. I don't know what limitation could you put on yourself. Like I don't know. Like I can't do this. I'm not smart enough to do this. I hear people say that all the time. Like I'll do some basic like stuff. Like I think, you know, the design and the intrinsic value or whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but the design and all that, it means something, right? The color schemes is good, but what I'm saying, it was so on a skill level wise, it was so basic to put together. It wasn't anything hard. It literally took me 2 weeks to think of what I wanted to put on the shirt, how I wanted to design, found somebody to make the shirts, out the door. Like, don't put limitations on yourself by saying you're not smart enough to do this, or, you know, like give it a try, give it a shot. Like, don't just, you know, give up before you even start. How's that? Like, come on now. You need to take that word failure out your vocabulary and just say, this is a lesson learning moment. You feel me? This is a lesson learning moment, because all that's really all it is. Like, I am really starting to do that. Like, I don't like that word failure, right? I think in the Indian language, they don't have a word for stutter. So how could you ever stutter? You feel me? So don't put that word failure in your vocabulary, and then you'll never fail. Come on now. Give it up, give it up, give it up. You feel me? Listen, gems have been dropped. I have said a word. But yeah, go about that. Go about that. And like most of the time it's just you in your own way, right? You in your own way. You want to become successful, it's you in your own way. Nobody's stopping you. That next person who's doing something similar to what you want to do, and you might think that they're going to say that you're copying them. Come on now. You got to get out of that. Grow up. Grow up, grow up, grow up, grow up, grow up. He was inspired. She was inspired by somebody else, right? What you can do is, I wouldn't say go and try to copy their whole business model, business scheme, whatnot, because, you know, you may copy it, but it may not paste the same. So what you do is copy it, but you put your own little swag on it. You feel me? Put your own swag on it. Let it be you. So whenever they see it, they not mistaking their product for your product. They're not getting the credit for what you've done. You feel me? So put your own style on it and let it be. Don't worry about if nobody's buying it right away. Keep perfecting your craft. Keep learning the art of it. Make sure you are doing something for more than just $1, to be honest with you. And I don't mean literally $1. I mean like money. Just because if you're doing things for just money, like that's the sole purpose that you're doing it, after the money don't come fast enough for you, right? Like you created this t-shirt brand and it just doesn't seem like it's selling, and now you're like, oh man, I know I should have never done this. Give it time. You gotta have another reason to why you're doing this, right? Do it because you want it to, I don't know, you like the art, you like the competition. Do it because you like want to be at the top. You want to be the best t-shirt design person. Do it because you wanted to take you wanted it to be your main source of income. You want it to be able to retire your mom. Do it for a reason like that. Don't do it just because of money, because the money don't come fast enough in the beginning, right? Like this podcasting thing, I'm not even listen. I don't even. I plan on making money from it, right? But I have no expectation on when it's gonna come. I'm not like setting a date and like I gotta have money by this time or I'm done, right? I'm patient. I am learning all parts of what it takes to be a great interviewer. I am reading stories. I also had another like I think it's an epiphany. I think that's the word to use. But basically, I want to become a good storyteller. So I told myself today, I was like, I have to start reading more books. I have to start reading more books because, especially in the one book that I said I was going to read more of is the Bible, right? Because if I want to be a great storyteller, why not read some of the arguably the best stories ever told, right? If I can just learn the best stories ever told, and then I'm knocking one part out of the way. Now all I got to do is just, get my tone right, my gestures right. You know what I'm saying? I gotta tell it with my style on it. You feel me? Like I'm a freak it, though. That's one of my things that I'm learning though. But you have to learn all parts of what you're doing, right? And it's gonna seem tough in the beginning, but understand there's a process, right? Understand when you start doing anything, there's a process. You can go get a job, right? But there's a process to that. You gotta find some jobs that you like, or you can just apply to jobs that you don't like. But either way, there's a process that you gotta go through. You gotta apply. You gotta go to the interview. You know what I'm saying? There's a process with everything. Even if you get the job, you gotta figure out what to do. You gotta figure out little things that you should be doing in between your main focus on that job. You gotta, you know, it's just a process to everything. So you might as well learn how to do something and become self-sufficient, right? Become self-sufficient. Don't rely on nobody else, because I just seen a video the other day where these guys have been working for this company for over 30 years. I mean, 30 years. They put in that pain for that company. You know what I'm saying? Imagine working for somewhere for 30 years. Some of y'all not even that old. Some of y'all are twice that age. But you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. But think about working there for 30 years. You already sleep half your life, and then you gave this company at least what? You gave them 30 years. You sleep half your life. You gave them 30 years of your life, and then they take away your pension. What? That black man was in there going off, and I don't blame him. Anybody that says something like he's acting crazy, hey, listen, shut it. You feel me? Like, that is crazy. Like 30 years of hard work, and they just cut you off like that. I that's why in a time like this, it is really, really good to just start doing content if you are into content, or just doing your own thing. You see all these NBA players or past NBA players that were on these TV shows like First Take and all that. They're doing their own thing now. Though they got fired, but they are doing their own thing now. You see these news reporters, they're doing their own thing now. All of them have YouTube video like channels, or some they're doing some type of content creation. I don't know if you guys are into like technology like that, but you should be. You should record your process, record what you do. And the thing about this is what I was telling my auntie the other day too. I was like, the thing that's gonna make you great is knowing what you do better than the next person, right? Don't hold back though. Give information out. Give information out. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna make you more valuable. People gonna want to come to you, but you gotta know what you're doing more than the next person. And just keep learning little nuances within the building. And it's gonna come with experience. It's gonna come with reading. It's gonna come with trial and error. Just learning them lessons. You feel me? Like, you gotta go through this. It's all necessary. It's all necessary when you start this business too, because you're gonna start this business. But when you start this business, like within the next week or so, you feel me? And you come back and let me know, like this is some things you gotta like worry about too. Not really worry about, but have in consideration, right? You're not gonna have all the things that you think that you need in the beginning, right? You're not gonna have all the things that you think you need in the beginning, but you do have everything that you need to start right now. Don't let that go over your head. You're not gonna have everything that you think you need to start in the beginning, but you do have everything that you need to start right now. I'm telling you, a lot of people be wanting the fancy cameras, the great microphone, the backgrounds, the listen, I'm telling y'all, I have this setup here. This setup here is so cheap that I have. You feel me? Maybe a few $100s, but it came with time. You should look at my videos a couple weeks from like uh, a couple weeks ago compared to my videos now, right? It took me time to get this camera, but I didn't let that stop me. I was still doing it because I know what I'm doing this for, right? It takes time. Everything takes time, and it's a process. You don't need this. You don't need a great camera right now. If you, especially if your message is good, you don't need a great camera right now. Just get on camera. Actually, you can record off of your phone camera. Your phone camera is probably better than this camera, to be real with you. Like, I have a Canon T5 something. Anyways, you can use your phone camera. You need somebody to edit. You're gonna be like, who gonna edit? Who gonna edit? Listen, there's people on Fiverr that will edit your videos for cheap. Oh, you gotta worry about thumbnails. There's people that will create you a thumbnail for $5. Like, it's so easy. You don't want to worry about having to make it. I mean, paying people for it. Make your own thumbnails. You can go to Canva and create your own thumbnails. You feel me? Adobe, and it's free. And Adobe has a background remover if you need to put your picture on your thumbnail, and it is free. Like, you literally have everything you need. You just got to do a little bit of research and try and find it. You have to try. Don't give up before you start. Don't set limitations on yourself before you start. Do something. Become self-sufficient. You feel me? Because these people, I'm not going to say that the people in the business don't care for you, but it's a business, and a business is an inanimate. I say inanimate. Is not a person. A business is not a person. It is a thing. It doesn't have feelings. So if that business says you need to go, you ain't working out no more, right? Within the paper, like the numbers, guess what? The people who work for the business is gonna do. They're gonna get rid of you, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to do this. Hey, what can you do about it? No matter how long you've been there, time does not, listen to this. Time does not guarantee you a spot at that place. I had a teacher whenever I was going to school for biopharmaceutical technology, right? I didn't finish, but that's besides the point. I had a teacher when I was going to school for biopharmaceutical technology, and he came to class one day, and I'm real like vocal. I'm a personable person, and like when I see people's vibe is different than what they usually are, I usually ask what's wrong, right? And so he comes in classroom, and I see that he's not as greeting as he usually is, and it's just like, so I ask him, I'm like, yo, you know everything all right? And he like goes around it a little bit, but not that I was trying to really be in his business, but a lot of the times people need to talk about things, right? Because you never know what type of idea that I can give you just by having a conversation with you. Got to bounce ideas back and forth. Two brains better than one. So basically what I did was, I just softened them up a little bit, made them comfortable enough to, share what was going on. And basically what happened was his wife had been training this woman, and end up the job that she was at, the medical, the it was like Pfizer, those companies, I forget what they're called, Pfizer, Glaxo, those large pharmaceutical companies, right? But she was working for one of them. I want to say it was, never mind, I don't know, but it was one of those. Anyways, she had been training a woman for like a month or so, and end up getting fired, and the woman that was that she was training end up taking her spot. And that's not the worst of it, right? That's not the worst of it. That's not the worst of it. The story gets better, but their situation gets worse. Well, sort of. So, couple months go by. They give her a pension, and force her into like retirement and whatnot. Couple months later, they tell her that she can come work for them again, but her pay has gotten reduced way low. She had been there crazy amount of years. I want to say it was over 30. Crazy amount of years. Pay got reduced way low. And guess what? She has to work under the girl that she trained. And she had to pay back what she spent out of her pension. I'm telling you, these businesses are businesses. Yeah, they're ran by people, but there's systems in place, right? So when the system says something isn't checking out, it's gonna let you go. It's what's best for the business, not what's best for your emotions. You gotta understand that part. Don't take it personal. It's a business. It has systems in place. Hey, but look, man, I'm about out of time. I had a great time talking with y'all tonight. You feel what I'm saying? So the message tonight is, for you parents, teach your kids how to be self-sufficient and not just go get a job forever, right? There's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5, and trust me, there's nothing wrong with it. But also learn how to be self-sufficient, so these people can't just stop your income at any point in time that they want to, or these businesses can't stop your income at any time they want to. You know what they say? You allow them to feed you. You also give them permission to starve you. You feel me? So become self-sufficient and teach your kids the importance of it. Give them game and tell them why it's valuable, why they're young. So when they grow up, they, and have kids and whatnot, that same pattern will pass down. You feel me? That's what this podcast is all about. Changing the perspective on different things and expanding the mind. You feel me? But again, I thank y'all for tuning in into this episode of the Psych Expansion Podcast. I hope that y'all have enjoyed the message. You feel me? Yeah, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I'll be back next week. I holla.